Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta get some responses. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Hi, my name is Irvin Anumba. This is Natasha Wright, Marengo Carey, and Emily Phillips. Today, we're going to present you guys with a big question. Is there a correlation between CSR and the development of a country? Today, most of you may not have heard of CSR. CSR is also known as corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is a concept whereby companies integrate social and environmental concerns into their business interactions as well as their stakeholders. Corporate social responsibility is comprised of 4 different dimensions. Those 4 different dimensions being social, environmental, economic, and ethical. Now I'd like to let Marengo come out and talk about our methodologies.
So for our analysis, we used both a multiple and a non-linear approach. We pulled data from 114 countries, and we used a Human Development Index as our dependent variable. In our analysis, we seek to observe the effects of CSR on human development. Human development places people and their capabilities as the premier basis for measuring a country's development. We've organized our analysis into 4 different components: social, economic, environmental, and ethical. Furthermore, each of these components has 2 independent variables. For social, we have innovation and sophistication and female labor force participation. For economic, we have business sophistication and the unemployment rate. For environmental, we have the Environmental Performance Index and Natural Resource Depletion. And for ethical, we have the Corruption Perception Index and Trust in Other People. Now, if you look at our social model, in the top half, you can see our 2 independent variables: innovation and sophistication and female and force participation. Now, the top half shows these 2 variables just ran together by themselves. Excuse me. And here you can see they're both significant. However, when we combine these variables with all the other variables of CSR, we see that innovation and sophistication is no longer significant, whereas the curvilinear female labor force participation is significant but negative.
So let's take a look at our social dimension. Germany is an excellent case study for innovation and sophistication. Right now, they're moving towards this concept called social entrepreneurship. And what this is moving away from just the government and charities providing social programs and collaborating with for-profit companies. Although Germany lacks a philanthropic culture, and this could hinder this process, the lack of fiscal resources has made this collaboration much more attractive. As a matter of fact, there is a growth in social enterprise. And what a social enterprise is when you take a traditional company and combine it with a philanthropic organization. One that stands out is Discovering Hands. What this company has done, they have taken visually impaired women, made use of their enhanced tactile senses so that they can detect cancer in patients. So not only is this company improving cancer detection rates, they're also putting visually impaired women to work, which helps in improving that female labor force participation rate. Marengo, can you now share with us the results of our economic dimension?
Of course. Once again, if you look at the top half, we see these 2 independent variables just ran by themselves. And once again, they're both significant. However, when we combine these variables with all the other variables of CSR, we see that the curvilinear unemployment rate is significant but negative, and business sophistication is no longer significant.
And yet, as the unemployment rate is the significant factor in Germany's human development, Germany's unemployment rate has remained fairly low and constant, around 5%. Yet other factors that are similar to Germany's unemployment rates, such as the in and out unemployment rates, as well as the increase in the number of temporary positions, has caused fluctuations in Germany's unemployment rates. These have mainly been caused by the country's increasing the number of temporary positions, the firms paying workers less than the industry's average rates, and refusing overtime. So, Marengo, what were the significant factors in Germany's environmental dimension?
Well, if we look at our environmental model here, we can see that the Environmental Performance Index is significant. However, natural resource depletion is not significant. Now, this is when these two variables are ran by themselves. Now, if you look at the lower half, we can see that the environmental performance index is significant, whereas natural resource depletion, once again, is not significant.
So now, as we take a look at this environmental performance index, we have to take a look at their nitrate emissions. And Germany is struggling right now to meet current directives to reduce their emissions by 50%. With agriculture being the second largest producer of greenhouse gases, it has been suggested that they transition to organic farming. Organic food is in high demand in Germany right now, and they have plans to move to at least 20% organic farmlands within the next 60 years. While they are struggling with nitrate emissions, they are excellent when it comes to moving towards sustainable renewable energy sources, and their plans is titled Energy Wind. They want to abandon coal and nuclear energy, and currently they're using 27% renewable energy sources, with wind being the primary source. And they have plans to close their last atomic plant in 2022. So Marengo, could you share with us now the results of our last dimension, ethical?
Sure. If you look at our ethical model, we can see that the corruption perception index is significant, whereas trust in other people is significant but negative. Once again, the top half shows when these two independent variables are ran by themselves. When we combine these two variables with all the other variables of CSR, we see that the corruption perception index is no longer significant, whereas trust in other people is still significant but negative.
Now, with the Corruption Perceptions Index, Germany ranked as the world's 10th least corrupt country. This in part could be in fact due to Germany's high level of trust in other people. Germany has a high level of trust in other people, partly due to its employee representation. The employees feel as though they can come to their managers with their concerns, and they can talk to them and do something about it. Yet Germany could also increase its high level of trust in other people by increasing the anonymity of its current ethical reporting systems, increasing the number of at the top lines, as well as increasing the number of employee representation through voluntary employee representation.
So, Germany. We've talked a lot about Germany, but remember, the big question is there a correlation between CSR and the human development of a country? After looking at these four significant variables, we can relate this to the U.S. and their U.S. firms that we have. First being the female labor force participation. In the U.S., we talk a lot about closing the wage gap between male workers and female workers. That's something that the U.S. can actually focus on and pay most of our attention to, whereas Germany focused on creating more opportunities. Here in the U.S., we always talk about unemployment rates. Unemployment rates is sort of self-explanatory. We want more people to have jobs. We want to create more jobs for people in our market. Next, going to the environmental performance index. We pretty much want to create greener energy sources and cleaner energy sources. Germany had an example of Energy Wind that they use for solar power. They use 27% of the energy that they currently use now. Lastly, we talk about trusting other people. At the end of the day, companies and organizations and firms can't work without their employees, right? So in trusting other people, we believe that focusing on employee representation will be one of the greatest assets to benefiting U.S. firms. Once again, my name is Irvin Anumba. This is Natasha Wright, Marengo Carey, and Emily Philippi. Thank you for listening to our presentation.